This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, Percolator. How are you doing, my brother?
Hey, Big O, I'm a little relieved, man. I might be able to play some golf, weather permitting, as opposed to doing a coaching search this weekend. So how about that? How about starting with that? That's good.
I got to tell you something. I think it's irresponsible if they don't fire him. To be quite honest, I've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't credit him at all. I credit the professionalism of the players' effort tonight. I really commend Weaver, who his back is up against the wall. He's got so much weakness on his defense. He actually gave his team a chance to win tonight. Overall, the unpreparedness of the team, the mistakes, the linemen, downfield ruining a couple plays, the Tua turnover and the Sealer mistake, and then the inconsistencies of Mike McDaniel's play calls, where you started with the run and then you abandon, and then you go back to it and you abandon, and it's habitual what I see under Mike McDaniel. And tonight's result, I commend the players, but to me, I'd still make the change.
Yeah, I wouldn't make the change, Big O. Look, this is what we've seen from Mike his whole time. And I thought that he came out and at least did try to run the ball. I thought that was a positive. Look, Weaver's run defense allows another 100-yard rushing performance by an opponent. That's not good. There's mistakes all around. I mean, Sealer makes his mistake on special teams. I mean, he knocks Reed Ferguson on his butt, the brother of Blake Ferguson, the Dolphins former long snapper. But I think at that point, Sealer couldn't stop. I think he's going over Reed Ferguson, and I think he sees that he has a chance to block the punt. So, really that's on Zach. And look, that has nothing to do with Mike McDaniel. On the interception, you're down to your third team guard, Daniel Brunskill. He whiffs on the block, and Deion Walker is right into his face. That's not on Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel is responsible for the Zach Sealer and the Daniel Brunskill, but it's not directly his fault. It's his responsibility. It's not his fault. It's like I say, if your kid throws a rock through the neighbor's window, it's your responsibility. It might not be your fault. So I thought that Mike McDaniel actually did his best job of the season. The players were in a good mindset. They could have been down. He came out and he did call a pretty good game. He could have done the normal Mike McDaniel thing of trying to force the ball downfield. I thought there was too much, Devon Achane passing to the east and west as opposed to downfield passing. I think that's where you miss a tight end like Jonnu Smith, though, who could get you 8 or 12 yards on a reception. But, overall, I do think that this game takes a lot of pressure off the team. It takes a lot of pressure off Mike McDaniel. And now you go into the Jets game and the Carolina game, and you could be 2-3. You could really improve some of the things that haunted you earlier. Now, look, the fact is,
hold on a second. Weren't they supposed to be 2-0 to start?
They were. Yeah, they were.
So we're now going to assume just because they had a decent outing today, they're going to win the next two.
I'm not assuming. I'm saying you have a good chance to be 2-3. Look, Big O. The season, to me, I thought they were going to win 9 games. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. Okay, so you're still headed for more mediocrity. But right now, at least there's hope. There's a chance that you can do some good things. If it was 0-3 with a blowout, you would have to make the change, but at least this takes a little pressure off. This gives you some hope. This gives the players some hope. It gives McDaniel some hope. The outcome is still going to be the same, Big O, mediocrity.
You see that this is a team that's only regressed under his leadership. This is the worst start of his career. And this is, by the way, this is a man that's never overcome adversity. Never.
Well, look, Big O, I've been saying that none of this should be a surprise, right? I mean, Since December of 2022, when they went out on the West Coast with that 8-3 record,
Right.
they've been exposed, right? And we saw it since Tennessee in 2023. I believe they're now 10-14. I know, but this is this is the time for all of that has passed. Now you're in with Mike McDaniel. Weaver's defense has not done anything great this whole season, right?
But
You
today,
you've
today they did enough. Today they did enough.
I disagree, Big O. You've allowed at least 31 points in all 3 games this year, and 4 games going back to last season. I don't see how you say the defense did enough.
If the special teams didn't screw up, and if Tua doesn't give up the interception, you're in a completely different chance to win that game. And the defense, at least, see, Perk, here's where you and I differ on this. The defense did enough for what it has. If you were expecting a shutout or limiting them,
No.
with that shit talent, you're out of your freaking mind. So what Weaver has to work with, which is dog shit outside of pass rushers, he has dog shit to work with. He gave them a chance. But if it wasn't for offensive linemen going downfield, Tua's interception, Sealer's special teams mistake, you would have had a shot to win that game. And that's because the defense gave you a chance.
See, I disagree. I think the front 7 has been the biggest disappointment on the team. You give up another 100-yard rushing game. You let Josh Allen deal all over you, right? I mean, the flip for the touchdown pass. I mean,
Perk. Let me ask you something, my brother.
Yeah.
Outside of pass rushers, what do you have on this team? Do you have run stuffers?
You should be doing better against the run, Big O. Look,
are you watching the film? Because all they're doing
yes, I'm just let
doubling
me tell you.
Sealer. They're doubling Sealer, pushing him out of the way.
I know.
And they're handling the baby defensive tackles. And so the easiest way to attack this defense is running and a short passing game, which is what you saw a lot of. And you have no pass rush against that. There is no pass rush. And even saying that, they still have 5 sacks overall as a team, which puts them in the middle of the pack in the NFL. But this team is really easy to actually attack because Weaver doesn't have certain pieces that he can't do anything about it, dude.
But Big O, they're missing tackles. You saw that Ramondre Stevenson 21-yard run. Yes. You saw Terrell Dotson miss the tackle, right? You saw Minka miss the tackle on both of those. You saw on the 3rd and 13, you saw Dante Trader miss a tackle, right? These are missed tackles. That's on Weave.
Hey,
I'm a Weaver fan, Big O.
Perk, who the fuck is Dante Trader?
He's your rookie. He's the rookie who you have out there starting.
You said it. He's a rookie. He's supposed to do shit like that. You put him in that position, that's your fault. Okay? Because you don't have anything. Dante Trader cannot be held to any standard because he hasn't set a damn standard. The other guys you mentioned, when Minka misses a tackle, okay, that's something but Dante Trader, who the hell is Dante Trader? He may even be a flash in the pan that doesn't even belong in this league. We don't even know who Dante Trader is. He may be a player, but right now he's just Dante Trader. He's nothing.
He's a guy who the Dolphins decided they were going to change their philosophy, right? They're going to win with draftees and youth. So I don't want to hear excuses for Jonah. I don't want to hear excuses for Kenneth Grant. I don't want to hear excuses for Ollie Gordon, Dante Trader, Zeke Biggers. None of them. They're out there.
But they can say whatever they want. Don't you look at your eyes and say,
you're a rookie? I know.
Okay, so they can tell me all they want about chemistry and all that, and I laughed at their asses. There's no chemistry in the preseason. Oh, we're going away for 11 days and bonding.
This has nothing to do with that.
And then when I look at your roster, you ain't winning no games. I picked you 7-10, and I was being nice.
But Big O, I'm talking about
sucks, Perk.
Look, Big O, you with your starters, you have enough to win 9 games. Now, obviously, injuries are going to happen in this league, and you win a lot of games on your reserves. I thought the reserves are what helped them in 2022 and 2023 because you're going to have injuries. This is the NFL. You have to rely on some of your backups. Now, obviously, they're backups for a reason, and obviously, rookies can't be expected to make the same plays as veterans, but I'm talking about basic stuff, right? Jonah being illegally downfield, right? Trader not missing a tackle. That's you've got to correct that kind of stuff. You can't do that. Jonah has done that twice, right?
Paul Soliak took 3 years to figure it out at defensive tackle. This happens all the time with defensive tackles.
I'm sorry.
They take a year or two to figure it out. Once in a while, you'll get a freak that you take really early in the draft, and maybe he can, shake things up. But most of the time, when you take these kind of defensive tackles late in the first round or later rounds, these guys take a while to grow, dude.
It's gonna take time, but the stuff that I'm talking about, illegally being downfield and missing the tackle. This is basic football stuff. Now, when you talk about learning how to hold your ground in a double team or learning how to pick up twists and stunts, okay, I understand that. This is basic stuff. Not being downfield, that applies in college. Making a tackle, that applies in college. Those things are directly translatable. I don't give you a whole lot of time to make the transition on that kind of stuff. You're right. This is not a good roster. It's a roster set up for mediocrity. Yeah, but I'll tell you this, I don't know that any of these coaches have done a great job, whether you're talking, and I'm a Weaver fan, but I look at this front seven, they've been a big disappointment.
I never said a great job. I just said today his defense gave them a chance to win. That's all. That's it.
I mean, they did. But look, Big O, I mean, now you've had, they are 0-5 up in Buffalo under McDaniel. And
6 since 2007. 0-7 now since 2017. So,
but I just count the McDaniel era, and you're 0-5 up here, and 3 of the games have been 3-point games. The other 2 are 48-20 and 31-21. I mean, you've had a chance to win 4 of the games. The defense has given you a chance, and look, let's say what we need to say here. Josh Allen carves them up again. And that's always the common denominator. I know he's a stud, right? We can all agree on that.
You saw the comeback against the Ravens, right?
Yep.
What he did today ain't shit, dude. Nope. I think the Bills coasted tonight. I don't even think they. I think they played in third gear tonight.
Yeah, and they had the missed field goal, which you could say was a factor also. But yeah, they did. They didn't. This wasn't a great game for them. This wasn't a great game.
They never got to fourth and fifth gear.
Yeah,
they never got to fifth gear. They didn't. I would
agree.
They didn't have to.
I mean, look, I was
smart, tough, conservative game. They didn't take any chances. They didn't have to because they weren't playing an opponent that was going to run away from it or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, the Dolphins played their best game of the year and still lost by 10. So that so we know that there's nothing special in for the Dolphins. But to get back to your point, I don't think that a coaching change is needed at this point. Now, again, this team is not going anywhere. We can all agree on that. This team is not going anywhere, but I think McDaniel has earned the right to continue coaching this team. We'll see how he is going into that, trying to get the order straight, Baltimore, Buffalo, Washington stretch, because after that, that's when things get tough going into that stretch. What is that, starting in week 9 or whatever that is? But, Big O, he saved his job tonight. He saved his job tonight.
One big thing. Tua has lost complete confidence in the line. He is playing with happy feet. The happy feet are leading to eyes that are not seeing the field. And 3 weeks in a row, he's getting baited by the underneath cover guy. 3 weeks in a row. He's playing scared football. He is not concentrating. And he is not even playing like he normally does. Those interceptions he would have never thrown. Something's going on there, dude, and it's bad.
Tua is becoming a major concern because, we're seeing a lot of times where it looks like he could throw downfield and make some plays downfield, and he's not looking, he's not seeing that stuff. He's scared to cross the line of scrimmage with the ball in his hands, although he did have that nice run and slide tonight. but he just looks like a quarterback who has lost a lot of confidence in his
plays. Even when he extended the plays, it was like he was extending them because he was running for his life.
Right, correct. He's on a dead sprint. He's not like looking to buy time. He's looking to get out of trouble. Right. Yeah. He's become a major problem. He's lost some confidence in himself, and it looks like he's definitely lost confidence in his offensive line, which I can't blame him for that. You're down to your third team right guard 3 weeks into the season, but yeah, Tua is becoming a major concern here.
Yeah. And it's not like any other quarterback's going to solve it. Behind that line,
Right.
they're all going to get killed. Nobody's going to have time. But I'm just saying, that this is a problem for him, and he's in a rut right now.
Yeah, he is.
He'll admit it, and I know he gets touchy with you guys now, but
they need a running game. They need a running game to take some pressure off of him, Big O, because that's about the only thing that can do it at this point. Jonnu isn't there. Your offensive line has injury issues. I don't like, look, McDaniel calls the games the way he calls the games, right? He loves that passing game. He'll never fall out of love with that passing game. But at least, I saw some promise when he went to Ollie Gordon early. They actually went to Willie Gay early, but Willie Gay didn't get a whole lot of burn after that. I would have liked to have seen Ollie get more carries. I don't know what, McDaniel says that his off-ball stuff suffers. I really don't care if people know that Ollie is getting the ball when he comes in the game. He helps. It's like bringing in a big back on 3rd and 1. He's going to get the ball. You still got to stop him. Give the ball to Ollie. They even lined up in some I formations tonight, which is different for this team. And they seem to be fairly effective. So I would like to see Mike kind of break with his own tendencies. I would like to see somebody on that staff say, look, Mike, we need to do more of this. That I know what you've got hangups about Ollie, but we need to do more of this so that we are tougher to defend, and so that we give Tua a little bit of a break, and maybe he gains some confidence. Maybe we give this offensive line a little bit of confidence. But if they keep doing the same old thing, they're going to keep getting the same old results.
I agree. All right, follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk. What are you doing at the South Florida Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Well, I think they did get a big sigh of relief tonight, but it doesn't change the trajectory of the season. You are still headed for mediocrity, but, I think everybody was relieved after this game, and players kept saying that, we're not going to take any solace in this, and I always say morale victory, Big O. It doesn't help your morals. It helps your morale, but they say they aren't taking any morale victories out of this, but I kind of think they are. I kind of think they are, Big O. I think
if you would have played a clean game and you played a rock'em sock'em game with them and you lost, okay, I can do that. But there was too much unorganization and too many mistakes.
It wasn't a good game, but it was their best game of the year.
MO of that coach, that his teams are unprepared and make mistakes, and they continue to be unprepared to make mistakes, and that's my problem. So,
I agree with you 100% on that. I agree with you 100% on that.
All right, Perk. Safe travels on the way back, my brother.
All right, Big O. Catch up to you after the Jets game. All right.
You got it. There you go. The great Chris Perkins. Reach out to our friends. Eric at EJD Construction, 305-433-4843. Custom home construction, major home remodeling, fully insured, liability and workers' comp. So everybody that's on your property, if they get injured, nobody's suing you. And by the way, if you don't hire EJD Construction, whoever you do hire, make sure they prove to you they're fully insured before they step 1 inch on your property. Because if not, you're responsible. So hire responsible people. Shell House, Shell Construction in-house. That's how they keep the constructions down, the costs down, folks. Call my guy, Eric, in Dade and Broward. Homes only, by the way, not condos. 305-433-4843.